Hey, you guys. How's things? How have you been? Okay, so last time, which I know has been a couple days, uh, we went through papers and just kind of sorted through, boxes of paper, stacks of paper, pulled out some stuff that I want to use in the Reader's Digest, and then I've also got this other cover that I wanted to make into a journal. So, and two Reader's Digests. And I've had a couple people ask me about selling these, like, wanting to know if they could reserve one of them or whatever. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these for a giveaway. And at some point I will be giving these away on my channel. So that's my plans for these. Okay. And basically what these are going to be like naked journals. Okay. Because that's something that I've been thinking I'd really like to get into. Just, making some just naked journals that, don't have a lot of embellishment and that kind of stuff, because I think a lot of people enjoy that and, they want to do their own embellishing. So I think I might start doing that with some of my Reader's Digest covers anyway. So I think I'm going to just give these away on a giveaway. Okay, I said it again. Anyway, so got all of the mini journals packed up and they're going out today. They're getting picked up today. So I thought we could just do a real quick sort of like sorting of the paper. So basically what I did is I sorted all the paper that I pulled on the last video into, what is it? Four or five stacks. Okay. So the first one is just blank papers. So, well, except for that one. But pretty much just blank with no lines or, no grid or anything like that. So just blank pages. And then, I folded most of them in half. Okay. So that's all I did. I just folded most of them in half. And a few that were a little bit long, remember we left some long so that I could fold one edge over. That's what I did. I just folded one edge in and, that's it. That's it. One thing I wanted to show you guys that I like to do sometimes when I'm folding papers is I'll take a piece of masking tape and I'll put it on my desk, and then I'll measure what my width needs to be. Actually, what I usually do is I don't do it sideways like that. I'll do it like this. So I'll have a piece of masking tape on my desk, and then I'll measure up how many inches I need to go or not go over. Okay. And then so that's at 5 inches, and that's what we determined the width of the book cover was. So I'll go 5 inches, and then that's my marker. So as I'm folding papers, let me find something. I mean, I think you guys get what I'm saying, but oh my gosh, and I can't find a piece of paper. Here, I'll use this. So as I have my pages that I'm folding, I'll line one edge up there, and then fold it up, to where I need it. I just want to make sure it stays in between those two marks. Okay, so I don't have to get my ruler out every time I'm folding papers. I just know that I have to stay within those two marks. Okay, so just wanted to show you guys that's what I do. Okay, so then the other pile was a bunch of end papers, flyleaf pages that have been pulled from different books. And then some other, like this is that paper that it was like a drawing notebook or something. And it's got this really cool, almost like straw paper type of texture. So that is one of my piles. And then the blank pages. And then another pile that is all like lined pages and grid paper and the accounting books, you know, so that kind of thing. And all the different sizes are all in there. And then another pile that is just book pages. So these are all pages that have, you know, text on them. And you know, I made sure that they all fall within that 5-inch width. Okay. We already looked at the height when we were cutting the paper. So I know already that none of these pages are higher than 7¼ inches. And then this is the other pile that is more kind of like oddball type of pages. So the little bit of scrapbook paper, and then I had the black, and the wrapping paper, okay, and then I had that little bit of black drawing paper. And then what I wound up doing with these calendar pages, because I didn't really want to sacrifice any of this, so what I did was I folded them in half, and then I folded them in half, and then I folded up the bottom of the page. Okay, so basically like that. And I've got my fold here, which is my height, and then I just cut a sliver off of that bottom part of the page, and that way these will go into the journal like this. Now you want to make a little bit of a gap there, because otherwise the page won't close flush, it won't close flat, you know. So you want to make that just slightly angled a little bit, you know, like maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so, and that's just nice for people to be able to add extra stuff down at this part and maybe fold that up. They could even make it into a pocket if they wanted to, or whatever. I just like to give people lots of different options in my journals, and I didn't want every page to be folded the same way. I like to have some kind of variety in the way that I fold my papers. And then this pile are all papers that I felt classified as pocket pages or something like that, right? So there was some scrapbook paper. These were from a previous project, and I think they had been used in Reader's Digest before because they were perfect size. And then I have some other scrapbook papers from another project. And so I just folded all of those, and these are potentially pocket pages. So what I can do is I can just run a stitch along the top and the bottom, or I can glue the top and bottom on these. And so I wanted to make sure that those all went into the same pile. And then remember these are the atlas pages. So when I folded those, basically I just, you know, did this little, whoops. Okay, hold on. Just a second. So I turned the page sideways like this. So instead of it being this way, I turned it sideways. I folded part of the page up to stay within my 7¼ inches, which is the height of the book. And then I folded another piece in. So that gives me, you know, that stays within that 5 inches. And then this part was, you know, excess. So then I just take that and I fold it back like this. So basically, I've got a pocket here, and on this page, I've got basically 3, like 2 tuck spots in a pocket or whatever. So there's a little tuck spot here. No, not 3, sorry. There's a little tuck spot here and a tuck spot here. Okay, I can count. Anyway, so that's just a real easy way to turn an oversized page into a bunch of pockets and tuck spots. Okay, so these, what I usually do is I'll just run a little bead of glue right along this edge here, just right inside here, and glue that down, or I will stitch that on my sewing machine. And then on this side, sometimes I'll take this and sort of, and then just, you know, fold this down or even in like that to give it some stability. And then it's kind of like an open tuck spot slash pocket or whatever. Or I could just run a stitch or a glue right up the edge here, or I could just leave it, and whoever winds up with the journal can decide what they want to do with it, you know. And lately that's what I've been doing more than anything, is just kind of letting the end user decide what they want to do with their pockets. And then these are the airplane pages. So these I folded up to less than 7 1/4 inches, and then just folded them straight in half. And so you'll see that some of them are a lot narrower than that 5 inches, right? So I thought these just made really nice pockets. Sometimes what I'll do, if this paper is relatively thin on a page like this, I'll take the very edge and just fold that over. And then I'll run a little bead of glue right here, fold that down, and then up. And then I will glue or stitch the two sides. It just makes it a little bit more stable at the top, so that this, you know, if I was concerned that over time this paper would start to tear or break down, just by doubling it over like that, it just adds a little bit of extra strength. Okay, so this paper happens to be pretty durable, so I'm not too worried about it. But so yeah, so I have, there's 6 of these, so probably 2 of these will go in each journal since we've got 3. And then we've got these kind of these are just oddball pages from that banana cookbook. And then some of these pages I did basically the same as the atlas. So I folded it up. I folded the bottom of the page up to less than 7 1/4 inches. And then I just went ahead and folded this in half, folded it on its natural, you know, fold line. And then I folded back each side so that it was less than that 5 inches. So then we wind up with that little tuck spot there and another tuck spot here. Okay. So this is how it goes in the journal. So this will either get glued down or stitched down before it's all said and done. And then we've got, you know, 2 pockets on the inside, and then on the next page 2 more tuck spots. So normally I will put this in the center of a signature, but lately I've been not doing that because I like to have pockets kind of interspersed throughout the journal sort of evenly, rather than having a whole bunch of pockets all in one area in the journal. So I just think it makes sense for somebody who's trying to separate their journal into like different subjects, or, you know, different time frames or something, like weeks or months or something. Anyway, so these little pages, and then there's a couple of these are papers from a photo album, an old photo album. So this is going to get stitched down. Now this is where it was attached into the album. Okay, so this just folded over, you know, anyway. So I'm going to run a little bit of glue along that, and then this is going to get folded. I folded that in. Okay, I folded it in so that it's between those 5 inches, and then just in half. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that's kind of how I sorted out the papers. And so this pile is a couple of different things, but it's more like thicker pages and things that are like more colorful or whatever, and also pockets. Okay, so then those are going to get sorted out into piles. And then this is the last little section of little pile of papers. So these are things that I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with them. I may just fold these up and put them in pockets in the journals, or I might, you know, like this, I could just use as a page in the journal, because it's, you know, it's still 2 pages connected. And then just little pieces, you know, like these little notebook, notepad pages. These we'll work with a little bit later before we stitch the journal together. And then also I thought some of these little guys I could be attaching. This is the origami paper. So I just folded the origami paper. I did this a long time ago, but I folded it, you know, not in half, but just left like a strip so that it had one relatively full-size page. Okay, so then I can attach something else on this side, like one of these little notepad page pieces or something, or, you know, some kind of a card, like a playing card or something like that. So that would go on there, and as long as it's not wider than 5 inches, we're good, you know. So that's what the piles are. So I thought we could just sort those out, and I can show you guys how I go about basically putting together signatures. Okay, so I'm going to put all my piles off to the side, and let me take this tape off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 3 piles. Since I have 3 journals, I'm going to make 3 stacks, and I'm going to try to evenly you know, make each pile. Okay, so this side, this one right here, I'm going to make a little bit, I'm going to add more paper to it because it's that wildflower book, and I need more in it because it's a thicker book. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to add 2 of these to that pile, and then I'm just going to go through my stacks and sort this stuff out. So it's kind of like however it lands, you know, like I'm not really trying to make sure that each pile is perfectly even. I'm trying to just give each pile some of what's in each one of these stacks. Now I might wind up with too many of these pocket pages, and if so, then I can pull a couple out later, you know. So this one, I'm going to just add the extra one to that pile. And then these guys, and I always start on the right. I always start on that pile because I know that that's, I need more in that stack. And I can add extra papers to this one too if I need to, like some coffee dyed paper or something like that, you know. So these were actually, I actually folded over the edges on these too. I forgot to mention that. But this was just a note. This was just a drawing book, you know, like a notebook. Oh, these didn't get folded. Some of these pieces of wrapping paper didn't get folded. So just fold them in half. And this is also scrapbook paper that is thinner. It's more like paper than cardstock, right? Okay. And then these are all the book pages. So you could see if I was doing, say, a dozen journals, I would have a dozen stacks on my desk right now. But somebody asked me about this beetle book and pages for the beetle book, or from the beetle book. Can't remember who it was. But I do have 2 of those, so maybe I'll add some pages from the beetle book to one of the monthly kits. Oh, so I got another box from Louise a couple days ago. A 60-pound box full of books and ephemera and stuff like that from France. So that's pretty cool. And so the July kit that I will actually be invoicing today will definitely have some French stuff in it. It's not going to be 100% French stuff, but it will be heavy on the French ephemera and pages and stuff. So some of these score sheets I left unfolded in that other pile that has just kind of the random pages. So it seems like a lot of paper in each of these piles, and I may wind up having to pull some out, you know, but basically I'm just going to sort all of this out. I know this is super exciting, but this is the process. So, and most of these pages I measured and they were less than 5 inches across. Some of them might have been slightly wider than that, but that's okay, because I'm going to actually go through after I sort out my signatures, and I'll do a little bit of trimming, because as you start to stack these inside of each other, they start to kind of stick out a little bit on the edges. Whoops. Well, that's right. So sometimes I'll need to do a little bit of adjustment on the width. This is looking like a lot of pages for these journals, but we're probably going to do 5 signatures in each one. The wildflower book, I might do 7. I might do 7 signatures. I just feel like it's a lot easier to bind more signatures with fewer pages. It's just, to me, it's just easier to manage. So if I feel like I'm, I want to check. I just want to check and see what my width is looking like. So basically, I'll just take my stack and put it inside the journal, and there's still plenty of room. So I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, and then this is the blank pages. So yeah, that was pretty fun. I actually got an encyclopedia set from her. That's really cool. It's like an oversized, it's really an illustrated dictionary, but so I took a couple of these and just set them aside because I know that we're getting kind of full here. And so I didn't want to have too many of one of those pages in here. I love this pink paper. It's really cool. it's really kind of thick, and it's nice. It's a nice texture. Some of the glassine paper. I'm just going to add one of this heavy drawing paper into each stack because it is pretty thick, and we're getting kind of fat here. Okay. Okay, and then let me check one more time. There we go. I think it's good. And I'm going to add some of these some of the end pages that I pulled, or that I folded. I'm not going to sort all of these out into the piles, but I'm going to do a few. So I'm going to try to do some of the larger ones. I'd like to add at least one of this into each journal. And then, okay, I think that's good. So basically, this is what I have left over. I may pull more pages out of these piles. I don't know. But now I'm going to just add, whoops, hang on. I want to put this back with the origami paper. So I'm just going to sort these into the piles also. And I definitely want some of the origami paper in each one. I want to try to use a variety of the origami paper in each journal. So I'm just making sure that it's 3 different patterns in each one. So there's 3 pieces of origami paper in each one. And I don't think I need these score sheets in these guys. So, because I already have some other score sheets in here. So add one of each of those. And then we'll add a couple of these bird pages in each journal. Okay. So out of all of the paper that I pulled for these journals, this is what I have left over right now. And now this stack is just going to go inside this cover, and I'm going to rubber band it shut because that's where they're going to live for the rest of eternity. This Reader's Digest seems like it's a little bit thinner. So here's the thing. Since I'm making these like naked journals, I'm really actually filling the book pretty full. Like, so this is something that I'm asked about this a lot. Like, how many pages do you use? How many signatures do you use? And that's all going to be dependent on what you want to put in your journal. So, you know, I don't have any idea how many pages I put in here. I really don't, and I'm not going to count them. I'm just going to fill it up to where I like it, you know. If you intend to put a lot of tags and extra pockets and all that kind of stuff in the journal, then you probably don't want to fill it up this much, right? So those are things that I would say add, you know, leave space for that and try to get that figured out, how many pockets you want to add, how many tags you want to, you know, put in the journal before you bind it. Because if you wind up with it super, super fat and alligator, you know, some people really like that. A lot of people really like that. They, you know, they feel like they're getting, you know, something more for their money or something, if the journal is just super fat, you know. And I've made lots of journals like that. I just feel like I like that to, I don't like to sell journals like that anymore. I prefer to have them kind of normal size. And then if somebody later on, after they buy the journal, if they want to stuff it with a bunch of stuff and you know, make it look overstuffed, then that's up to them. So anyway, what I'm saying is that if you think you're going to add a bunch more pockets, like ones that you would glue onto the pages or stitch onto the pages, then I would get that stuff made and have it ready to sort of just insert into your cover and, you know, make your stack of pockets and tags and stuff that you intend to put in the journal. You know, have those ready before you bind it, and maybe even before you put your signatures together. You know, you don't necessarily have to do that. It's just, I like to kind of plan how many pockets I'm going to put in each journal. Like I've already got pages in here that I know are going to be pockets. So I know I'm going to put something in them. So I need just a little bit of extra space. Oh, I feel like I'm just rambling on, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I probably will be taking some pages out of here just to make a little bit of extra room. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like this because I really am trying to make these kind of like naked journals and not add a bunch of pockets. And, you know, I just don't want to overdo it, you know. So I know that's a lot of paper, but I think it's going to work out fine. Okay. So like this one is pretty full, you know. I did add extra papers into this book, so that doesn't surprise me. Okay. So this one, the pages are not going to extend as far out to the edge of the cover. So that means that I feel pretty good about maybe adding some tabs and maybe some fabric trims and things like that on the edges of my pages. And I think I might do this one as a hidden spine too. So, so I won't be stitching through the cover on this one. Maybe we'll see. Anyway, okay. So that's basically how I sort out the pages. And then what I'm going to do is sort this pile from each journal into the number of signatures that I want to use. Okay, so on a spine this size, which is just about 2 inches, I'm going to do at least 5 signatures. So I'm going to sort this into 5 piles now. So basically I'm going to turn the pile over and start from the back. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just start all over. Okay, so this is just, you know, however they land is where is the signature that they're going to live in. I turned the pile over because I'm sort of, I just like to have the pockets on the bottom of my stack. So that's why I did that. You don't have to do it this way, just saying. So see, that's how they wind up, I think, with a good variety in each signature, just from, you know, just sorting them out. And I think that this is a lot quicker. Like, I think these signatures are a little heavy on book pages. Like, some of them have more book pages than I really want, you know. So I may wind up, whoops, I got lost on my counting here. I may wind up removing some book pages. I don't know. Maybe. So this is what I'll do for each journal now, and kind of get this signatures evened out, and this way I know that each signature is going to have a nice variety of different pages and stuff. So the other thing too is that these smaller pages, like some of them are going to go at the top of the signature and some are going to go at the bottom. So that actually helps with the thickness too. They're not all going to be right in the center of the signature, so that's going to kind of disperse that thickness top to bottom. Isn't this fun, you guys? So I'm going to take one of these Pullman pages and actually put it here, because I don't want to have the Pullman page in two signatures right in a row. And then I just added one to the page, or to the signatures that I skipped. All right, now this is just kind of my extra stuff and the origami pages. Okay. So these then I will stack off to the side, just kind of alternating them, kind of one going this direction, one going this direction, off on the side. Okay, so I've got all 5 signatures now kind of sorted out here. So I'm going to take one stack and then I'm going to sort this into piles again. Okay, so these are the just like single odd little deals. Those kind of go off to the side because I'm not sure where those are going to go in the signatures yet. So I'm going to take my solid pages with no lines, and also my grid papers and my lined papers and stuff like that, and put those in one pile. And then all of the book pages, the pocket pages, and the pattern papers are going to go in another pile. Okay, so the first page, I'm going to be kind of dealing pages onto a pile up here. So what I want to do first is decide which page I want to be the center of my signature. Sometimes that's an envelope. So if that's the case, then I will have an envelope and I'll just put the envelope there. But I'm not gonna do envelopes just yet. I haven't decided on envelopes. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of fan these out a little bit so I can see what I'm grabbing. Okay, And then I'm going to be alternating. So it'll be, there's a grid paper, and then we'll do a book page, and then we'll do a solid paper, and then one of those pages, and we'll do that lined paper and a piece of scrapbook paper. We'll do a piece of solid, another book page, some lined paper. We'll do the atlas page. So I'm going to do a line page and then a solid, because I can see I only have 3 pages left over here, so I need to kind of start evening this out. So that, and then we'll do that book page, do solid, and how about the grid, and then book page, that, and then these are just going to get tucked into the beginning of the signature. Okay, so now I've got my stack here, and I kind of have it laid out how I want it. So I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to start opening them as I lay them down. And I'm going to stack some of them up high and some of them down low, but I want to make sure that they still overlap so they stay in the right position, or so that they stay in the right order. Okay. So I just want to make sure that they actually overlap a little bit in the center. So I'm going one high, one low, one high, one low, one high, one low, and so on, etc., etc. Okay, so I don't really want this page to be on the outside of my signature, so I'm just going to stick that one there, and then I know this one will be kind of like the first page of my signature. It's a little bit sturdier paper, and it's more like full size. I like to use kind of like a full size page on the outside of my signatures usually. Okay, so then I have this little stack that's kind of like a tent, right? So I'm going to hold this up like that, and I'm going to just kind of gently tap these together. Okay, so there's one signature. So you see how they start to sort of stick out towards the center. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe I might need to trim some of that off. Okay, so then my little extra pages, I'm just going to tuck inside my signature right there. Okay, and then I'm going to just put a rubber band around that signature and continue on with each one of these signatures, sorting them all out and laying them out how I want them to be in my signatures. Okay, so I'll do that with all 5. So let's make sure that this page winds up being on the outside of the signature, kind of like how this one is. So this one, I'm just going to put aside over here, so I know that that's what its job is now. So let's make that one the center of the signature, and that, we'll do that. Let's do this pocket page. Add some color. So this is, I don't know, I mean, this is just my method of kind of making sure that I have nice variety throughout the whole journal. Okay, so that one, and then that one. Okay, and again, That's my center. And then I'm just going to stack these again, one high, one low. And if I had like, if I want to add, you know, folded paper bags, or I have anything specific that I want to make sure gets into my signature, I would try to add it now. But you don't necessarily have to, because we're not stitching anything together yet. We're just kind of organizing. We're just organizing. It's like preliminary layout, you know. Nothing is ever permanent or unfixable. Whatever you do in your journal, you can undo. You know, it's never ruined. It's never, nothing. It's never ruined. Anyway, so I just tap those together, and then I'll insert these little loose pages just right in the front of my signature. This bird page, I didn't notice this before, but it's a little bit too tall. So I'm just going to trim a little bit of it off now so it doesn't irritate me. Because I actually like to put my rubber bands on vertically. Because rubber bands have a tendency to cut pages, and I don't really like that. So let me cut this one down just a little bit. So there's 2 signatures, and I'm just going to continue doing that with all 3 journals, all 5 signatures. Actually, the last journal, I think I'm going to do 7 signatures. So that one will be obviously a little bit more. But, you know, this is what I'll do for you know, until I get, if I'm making 20 journals, this is how I'm going to do it. And I will, you know, put a movie on and just sit here and sort out my signatures until they're all done. So I'll go ahead and just leave it at that for now. And then, you know, so if you're working along, get your signatures all sorted and just kind of get things organized that way. And, you know, get all your pages folded, and then, you know, get your signatures sorted out, you know, sort of like basically, you know. But like I said, nothing is stitched yet, so, you know, we can make all kinds of changes. And, you know, if we're going to stitch pockets, we still need to be able to do that. Sometimes I will just go ahead and stitch all my pocket pages before I do this. And actually, if I'm doing like 20 journals or even a dozen journals, I probably would do that before I organize my signatures, because it's more difficult for me. It's more time consuming for me to pull a page out of a signature and then stitch it and put it back in the signature than it is for me to just go ahead and stitch them all ahead of time. So honestly, most of my pocket pages, I would stitch them before I put the signatures together. So just saying, if I was going to do stitching, if I'm gluing them, it doesn't matter, because, you know, they can get glued even after the book is totally bound and, you know, and sort of permanent. So, all right. So that's what I'm going to do. And the next video, I will, we'll talk about dealing with these little extra pages and kind of what I would do with them, how I would approach using those in the journal. And we'll look at like a final cut on maybe if I need to remove any pages and that kind of thing. And then maybe I'll do some stitching on my sewing machine and talk about, you know, considerations with that. Because I know that there's people that have never made a junk journal before. They've never done this before. And so I just feel like I want to try to remember that and not make assumptions that people know how to do stuff, you know. So anyway, but thanks for your comments, you guys. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. And it really helps me a lot. So if you have other questions, or if I have not answered your question that you asked already in comments, just ask it again. And, you know, if I'm not covering something that you really want to know. Okay. And don't feel like anything you could ask is ever a dumb question. No, really, there's no such thing. So, you know, if there's anything that you're wondering about, just leave it in the comments, and I will try to address that on the next video. Okay. All right. So that's it. Okay. Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.